بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. Before we go to the new letters, let's go back to the old and do a quick review. Sorry. There you go. And these are the ones that we did last time. Okay, so let's see if anyone can recognize these letters. And then we'll talk about the vowel sound, which is first of all, the vowel sound that we're studying right now, the vowel sound that's usually written underneath a letter, and that vowel sound is called the what? Kasra. That's right. So we have kasra, right? We're studying the kasra. All right. So let's take a look at some of these letters now. This letter right here, with the one dot on top, got the circle like that. What is that called?
Fa.
Fa. That's right. It's a fa. So we have a fa with a kasra underneath it. So what sound does that make? Fi. Right? Fi. All right. This letter here has another dot. We see it has a dot right here and a kasra underneath it. What letter is this?
Ka.
Kha. Right, the kha. But yeah, it is pronounced. You go way ahead of the game, mashallah, Iman. Yeah. So this letter is the kha. This letter is the kha, and the kha with a kasra underneath it makes the khi sound. Like khimar, right? So khimar is written with the kha, with the kasra underneath it. Okay, so now let's look at this letter right here. What letter is this? Ayn. All right, and we have the ayn with a kasra underneath it, which makes the sound ayn, right? Like ibadah, right? And what does ibadah mean? Worship, right? So ibadah has this letter at the beginning of it with the kasra. Okay, now the next and the last letter that we have here is ta, right? Ta, right? You have to make sure you kind of soften the word so it doesn't sound like a T, right? Tha. Okay, so we have the ta with a kasra underneath it, and what sound does that make? Thi, right? Like Thib. What does Thib mean? Not Tayyib. The difference between Tayyib and Thib. What is Thib? Who knows? Huh? Thib. With a ba at the end. Thib. Oil. That's right. That's right. Thib is oil.
How you spell that?
It's ta, ya, ba. Thib. It's not the same as tayyib, just different pronunciation and stuff because of the accents and the stress. Okay, so these are what we've already. Now wait. Now somebody might say, well, the word that I learned for oil is another word. Zayt is oil. Yes. So what is the difference between zayt, thib, and itar? Those are three things. Okay, that's right. Because zayt is just oil in general. So the oil, cooking oil, is zayt, right? So when we talk about thib, we're talking about something that has a good smell to it, right? An oil that has a good smell. And itar also is an oil that has a good smell. And there's basically no difference between thib and itar, except for you can say, I guess you could say itar is more general.
Wood.
No, itar, no, khashab is wood. Khashab. But yeah, itar is more general, I think, in certain places, like that. Okay. So now that we've reviewed this, let's go on to the new letters that we're going to cover. And here they are. Okay. So let's look at this first letter right here. Now we see that it has a very oblong shape at the bottom. 2 dots on top. What letter is this? The qaf, right? The qaf. And the qaf has a kasra underneath it. So how do we say that? Qi, right? It's qi. Now, qi like qira'a, right? So you would use this. So what does qira'a mean?
It's a number.
No. Qira'a. Oh, let me say with the whole pronunciation at the end. Qira'atun. Qira'atun. Huh? Yes. Reading. Reading is qira'atun, and writing is kitabatun, right? So you have kitabatun from the word kutub, or kitab, which means book, right? And you have qira'a from the word Quran or qara'a or anything like that, which means to read. So qira'a is reading, kitaba is writing. So we have qira'a. Okay, next we have zay or za. You can say it both ways and stuff, okay? All right, so we have the zay here or za with a kasra underneath it. What is that? How do we say that? Z, right? Z. So we have thi, z. All right. Z like the word zina, and not zina. But both of them have the same pronunciation, right? So you can say zina or you can say zina. What is the difference between zina and zina? What does it mean? Difference in meaning?
Zina is fornication.
No.
Zina.
Zina is fornication, and zina
is beautifying.
Beautifying, right? Beautification. All right. Okay, now the next word, letter we have here is the law, right? The law. And here we have the law with a kasra underneath it. So how do we say that? Li, right? And that's like vilal. And vilal means what? What does the word vilal mean? Yes, it's a word that you don't hear a lot. It's actually a book that's very famous in Egypt that actually has the word. We call it Vilal al-Quran. It's a tafsir by Sayyid Qutb, right? Not promoting Sayyid Qutb and his tafsir, because it has a lot of errors in it. But the word Vilal is there, and it's a known book, so I thought that might be a hint. Anyone knows? No? Vilal means shadow. So fi Vilal al-Quran, which is the name of the tafsir, meaning in the shadow of the Quran or something like that. So Vilal. Okay. Next we have the ha, right? And this ha has a kasra underneath it. So he, right? So we have qi, z, we, he. Right. Okay, now he like in hilal. And of course I shouldn't have to explain that one. Who knows what hilal means?
Good.
No.
No, Larson.
Crescent. It's a crescent. The crescent. Y'all was thinking too deep, right? I mean, no, it couldn't be that simple. No, yeah, hilal is the crescent moon, and that's the word that we use. Okay, so let's see if we can have somebody just go over all four of them. You know, we'll have some. Go ahead. The sound, not the letter. The sound. Wrong. Anyone from over there? You guys want to try? Go ahead. First one. No, not the letter, but the sound the letter makes with the kasra. We're going over sounds. P. Z. V. He. Okay. You want to try, Shay?
Easy boy.
Okay, all right. You want to try Ulysses? Shay?
It's cough.
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 It's cough. No, the letter's called cough, but the sound.
K.
T.
Z. Z. Qua.
V. He. And he. Thank you. Okay, so now that we've introduced 4 new letters, we are now going to move on to the
When you mentioned halal, when you said that.
Hilal.
I was thinking of halal.
No. It's halal. It's with a different letter. So you have halal and you have hilal. Yeah.
Halal means good.
Yeah, halal means good or permissible, depending on, the context. Okay. So now, you look here. Now, this is where we stopped off last class. Now, last class we were talking about where do we get the explanation of the Quran from, right? We said that the first place to get an explanation of the words of Allah is from Allah. Allah first, right? Allah, sometimes He explains things, right? Like al-Qari'ah, mal-Qari'ah, wa ma al-Qari'ah. Now Allah says, and what would make you know what al-Qari'ah is? Then He explains us what al-Qari'ah is, right? And so we have Allah explaining what He means. So that's the first. Then after that is the hadith, the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Quran was revealed to him. He's the best to know the meaning of it. Then after him is the companions, especially the knowledgeable of them from amongst them, such as Ibn Abbas, Ibn Mas'ud, Ali is also prevalent when it comes to meanings of the Quran. Like for example, who remembers the tafsir of Ali for the ayah فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ, which means, and pray to your Lord and sacrifice, wanhar, right? Which is mostly what they translate it as, right? فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. Ali has a very interesting tafsir for this verse. Who knows what it is? فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ, and pray to your Lord and sacrifice. First of all, this sacrifice, what do most people who do tafsir translate it as? What's the type of sacrifice are we talking about here? It's the biha, but what type of animal?
Goats.
No.
Camel.
Camel. Yeah. Camel is the only animal that you do a nahr for. Any other animal you do a dhabh. So a dhabh is the slicing of the throat, right? That's the biha. But a camel, you don't slice the throat. It's too big. You do? You stick it. That's the nahr. Yeah, you just stick it right in the throat and have it just bleed out like that. So that's the interpretation that most people know. But Ali, radiallahu anhu, he has a different understanding of this ayah. And that is, he says that, فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ, and pray to your Lord and do nahr. He says it's putting your hands, your right hand over your left hand, and putting it right here, near the nahr. That's how he explains it, right? And that is actually the most authentic explanation of where to put your hands. There is no authentic narrations on the Prophet ﷺ where to put the hand. We know that he put his right hand on his left. That's what we know. And we know it's somewhere on the body, right? But any hadith that says a specific place is weak. So you know some people's under the navel. The hadith is weak. Some people say, here, between the navel and the chest, there's nothing to support that. But the explanation of Ali ibn Abi Talib for that verse is the most authentic explanation we have for where to put the chest. That's why in certain places, I know the Sheikh probably have seen it before, right? You see some people that will pray like this, right? And that's where they get that from. That's where they get that from. Okay. Okay, so after the companions, explanation of the companions, then we go to the students of the companions, right? That's the fourth step in explanation. And after the students of the companion, we go to
Memory.
no. We go to the Arabic language or Islamic terminology, right? So, and I think this is where we actually stopped off. So, if we go back one slide at the beginning of this, right? Let me see, where is it at? And we did not send. Okay. Now this is where we talk about the linguistic, right? The linguistic meaning and also the Islamic terminology. Okay. So we use some examples here for the linguistic meaning. We have إِنَّا أَنَّ إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ لِتَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ بِمَا أَرَاكَ اللَّهُ وَلَا تَكُنْ لِلْخَائِنِينَ خَصِيمًا. And this means, indeed, we have revealed to you, O Muhammad, the book in truth, so that you may judge between the people by that which Allah has shown you, and do not be for the deceitful and advocate. Right? And then it also says, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. Allah says about the Quran that we've made it an Arabic Quran so that you may understand. So the usage of the language plays a part in understanding the Quran, but it is not, it doesn't precede the explanation of Allah, His Messenger, or the companions. Those take precedence, right? But we do use the Arabic language to understand the meaning of the Quran. Okay, so here it says something here, interesting. So if the Islamic meaning differs from the linguistic, right? Because we said that they're almost at the same level. Once we go through all of these other ways of understanding the words of Allah, and we get to the Islamic meaning and the linguistic, but if there is a contradiction between the Islamic meaning and the linguistic, obviously the Islamic meaning takes precedence over the linguistic meaning, except that there is proof that shows otherwise. Okay, so let's look at this now. Allah says, وَلَا تُصَلِّ عَلَى أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ مَاتَ أَبَدًا وَلَا تَقُمْ عَلَى قَبْرِهِ. And the rest of I guess we could read the rest. إِنَّهُمْ كَفَرُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَمَاتُوا وَهُمْ فَاسِقُونَ. Allah says about the hypocrites, and do not pray. Okay, I don't want to, this is what they took. And do not pray over any of them who has died, ever, or stand at his grave. Indeed, they disbelieved in Allah and His Messenger and died while they were defiantly disobedient. So the word salah that is used in this ayah, he says, وَلَا تُصَلِّ. That's the word, that's the verb for the word salah. La tusalli, he's saying don't pray, right? So it says that the word salah, linguistically, what does it mean? Linguistically, the word salat means dua. Allah said to the Quran, He told the Prophet, so salli alayhim, pray upon them. Now, that was the linguistic meaning. Allah is saying, make dua for them. Telling the Prophet to make dua for those who died in battle. Right? So here we see it again. We're talking about the linguistic. Is this the linguistic meaning that is implied here in this ayah? Okay, we know that the linguistic meaning of salah is dua. And dua means supplication. Right? So it says here, according to the legislation, legislatively, the salah in context, of course, salah here, it means standing over the deceased body and praying over it as specified. Right? Because the salatul janazah, the funeral prayer, there's a specific way to do it. All right, so the legislative meaning is preferred here over the linguistic meaning, because the speaker is using a meaning that is understood. What we mean that, when this was revealed, there were some of a hypocrite had died. So when this was revealed, the Prophet ﷺ knew the context in which the word salat was being used. He knew that it wasn't talking about dua. It was talking about the funeral prayer. So with that context, the Sharia, using the word salah here, it meant that. So as for the general impermissible, this is something that the Sheikh had said after addressing this issue, showing that it's not permissible to pray over those who died in that state of disbelief. So he says, as for the general impermissibility of supplicating for them, then the proof is something else. That means the proof for not praying over someone, not supplicating for someone who had died as a disbeliever. The proof for that is not this verse. He's saying there's another proof for that. And that issue is not as clear cut as one would hope it to be, and might actually take some study, to really. So I know you were going to probably ask about that and stuff. All right, because we know, for example, there are instances in which we can make dua for the disbelievers in general. For example, when they sneeze, right? We say, Yahdikumullah wa yuslihu balakum. May Allah guide you and rid your fears. So we make supplication for their guidance and also that their situation gets better. So that's talking about worldly benefit. Go ahead.
What about that a person sneezing and not saying Alhamdulillah? My understanding was that you're not supposed to say Alhamdulillah for them.
Yeah, I mean that's in general for the Muslims, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course the disbelievers, they're not good.
Right.
Yeah, they're not going to say that. But yeah, for the Muslim, yeah, they have to initiate with the Alhamdulillah. Then you say, Yarhamakullah. Then they repeat by saying, Yahdikumullah wa yuslihu balakum.
When we're talking about the hypocrites,
Mhm.
because from my understanding, that they were kind of like hidden, they kind of hid their.
Mm-hmm. They're hypocrites. I mean, they're disbelief. They hid their disbelief, yes.
So I understand. So did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did he know who all of them were?
Yeah.
And then Allah told him not to do it.
Yeah. No. Here's the thing. Allah informed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who the hypocrites were, right? To the point where Umar was ready to deal with them. Of course, like Umar, normally would, right? He was ready to cut heads off and stuff like that. But he stopped him. The Prophet ﷺ stopped and said, لِأَنْ لَا يَقُولُ النَّاسَ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدْ يَقْتُلُ أَصْحَابَهُ. Said, don't do that so the people, because he's worried about the people saying that Muhammad kills his companions. Because the people who are looking outside, from the outside, they're not going to be able to distinguish between that person being a hypocrite and that person. They're all Muslims. So, for that reason and stuff like that, Prophet ﷺ left them alone. But those ayahs that talked about them in general, and the fact that he informed some of his companions about the names of some of those hypocrites and things like that, was what he had done to clarify their situation.
So, for instance, nowadays, if we wouldn't, in a situation like this, we wouldn't pray for somebody who obviously apostated from Islam.
That's correct,
You know what
yes.
I mean? But if you had a person who you never saw them, like they probably didn't pray all the time, like hardly ever.
Mhm.
But they said they was Muslim. We got situations like
Mhm,
that.
mhm, mhm.
They was on drugs. They said you might have saw them once a Eid, maybe a Jumu'ah or something like that. And then you had some situations where some cats was going to church and going to the mosque.
Okay.
That's happened.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
When you in a situation like that,
Mhm.
what do you do in a situation like that?
Okay. All right. When it comes to issues like that, first of all, we have to remember we look at each situation by itself as an isolated incident, and we have to look at the issues that are connected to that. Someone, for example, who we know him, for example, to have taken the Shahada, but we haven't seen him do anything outside of that ourselves. We have to have what's called husnul dhan in that scenario. We have to have, good thoughts. Is that the way to translate that? Good thoughts about that brother, and hope that, because there's a lot of things that we might not see of an individual that they do in their privacy of their own homes and things like that. So we hold that we have that thought about the brother and stuff like that. Even the one that might go to church sometimes and then go to the mosque sometimes, he's going to the mosque and he's praying. That might be an issue that he has some misunderstanding about, that needs to be clarified, and no one's ever clarified it for him. So you think that it's okay to do that, and that you don't know unless you sit down and ask. And that's why when it comes to these specifics and stuff like that, the scholars always say the only person can determine the scenarios of these individuals, someone that is very firmly grounded in knowledge, because there's so many specifics that lean one way or the other. We might on the outside might see clearly going in one direction, while after investigation and questioning, you find out that the situation is not as it appears. So those things have to deal with an individual scenario and an individual matter. But yeah, I mean, if it seems like they're Muslim, then we take it like that. But if the person, obviously if the person, disavow Islam and things like that, then that's nothing for us to worry about. But remember that we have a mas'uliyah, we have a responsibility, and that we're going to be held accountable for that. So, would you rather stand in front of Allah saying that, we thought he was Muslim, so we prayed for him? Or would you stand in front of Allah saying that, we did not fulfill the rights that we're supposed to do for this Muslim brother? You understand? So these are the scenarios that you have. And inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us our shortcomings and things like that when it comes to these issues of the unseen. But hypocrisy, something, of course, because it's hidden, there's no way for us to be able to uncover it. And we leave that situation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh, fun.
Where in that particular scenario, because of the fact you don't know, and there's a lot of doubt either way, wouldn't the niyat have something to do with the final judgment of a particular action in that particular case?
I mean, okay, when we talk about there's a hadith that says al-mar'u ala husni khatimatihi, which basically means that a person is upon the good in which they die upon, or the bad or the evil that they die upon. So that kind of indicates whether or not they were upright, a believer, and things like that. That is an indication, but it's not the rule. So if we see a person, for example, died in a crack house, or a brother died in a crack house or something like that, that's not a good way to die. And that might be an indication of something going on there. But can we use that and say, well, he probably wasn't Muslim, and then use that as the basis for how we're going to treat his death? We can't do that because there's no real certainty to that.
Right.
And this religion, we go with certainty, especially when it comes to those type of major issues and stuff. Okay. Now that we've kind of, backtracked a little bit, we're going to cover a new subject, which is the issue of al-ikhtilaf al-warid fi tafsir al-ma'thur, which is the differences found in explanations. Okay, because now that we've talked about these different ways that we can gain insight to the meaning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what do we do, or how do we treat those instances where we meet seems to be differences? Like, one explanation is saying something and the other one is saying something else. So we're gonna look into that. Bismillahi Jalla Jalaluhu. Okay, so the first type of differences that one might see is differences in choice of words, which carries the same meaning, right? So we have differences in the choices of words. One says, for example, Allah says, and hold on to the rope of Allah. So you have some people translating the rope of Allah as Sunnah. You have some people translating the rope of Allah as Quran. You have some people translating the rope of Allah, Allah and His Messenger. So these are different words, but it carries the same meaning. So what do we say about that, right? He says, this doesn't affect the meaning of the verse. Right? This doesn't affect the meaning of the verse. Now let's look at the example that we have here. Allah says, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. And your Lord has decreed that you worship none but Him. Okay, the word qada is what we're going to look at here. Right? So we have Ibn Abbas, who says the word qada means command. So Allah commands that you worship none but Him. Mujahid, which is a student of the companion, he says the word qada means to discharge direction or words of advice. Right? So Allah advises you or directs you to worship none other than Him. Rabi' ibn Anas, he said qada means to make obligatory. So Allah obligates upon you to worship none but Him.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya as-salah, hayya as-salah, hayya al-falah, hayya al-falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Okay. So here you have three different explanations, seemingly different explanations of what the word qada means in this verse. Right? But in reality, it says here, all of these explanations, the meanings are unified or close. So the differences doesn't affect the meaning of the verse. When they say Allah obligates for you to worship none but Him, Allah commands for you to worship none but Him, Allah directs you to worship none but Him, all of it has pretty much the same unified meaning. So their statements here does not affect the explanation. Probably might want to stop there before we move on to the next one. I don't know if everyone is ready to.
Yeah, he's still recording.
From last week, everything that went off, he said.
Yeah, it didn't record all of the class last week. Yeah, because the phone. But it's what was recorded is available to watch though.
What grade are you in?
Third.
Third grade. So you're 8.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, you started school when you're 5 years old, and each year you move up. So I add 3 to it. So that makes 8.
They're almost 9. I'll be 9 in April.
April, next month. What day, April? You gotta know your date. You have to know your date.
8.
April 8th?
That's it.
No, you gotta know that. You gotta know that. That's something that you live with the rest of your life. That becomes one of the most important days in your life.
April 4th.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استعوا مستقيم. الله أكبر.
الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فضلك الله ليدعو اليتيم وليعبد على طعام المسكين ويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يرعون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع له لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. الله أكبر. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر.
الله.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم.
Okay, Bismillah. Okay, let's continue then. All right. The other type of differences that we have in explanation is differences in choice of words, which carries a different meaning. And it's possible for the verse to have both meanings since there is no conflict between the two meanings. Okay, so you have two meanings. different choices of words, but there doesn't seem to appear to be a conflict between the two meanings. What do we do? So, in this case, it should say both. Both meanings should be used to explain the verse, and rectifying between the two statements, and diversifying of the meanings which the verse can hold. So if a verse can mean this or mean that, right, and there's no conflict, there's no contradicting, or one meaning does not contradict the other, then in this case, we hold that verse to have both those meanings. Okay, example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ الَّذِي أَتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا فَأَتْبَعَهُ الشَّيْطَانُ فَكَانَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَرَفَعْنَاهُ بِهَا وَلَكِنَّهُ أَخْلَدَ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ. So that means, right, he says, and your Lord has decreed. Wait, hold up. That's not right. I'm sorry, that must have been a mistake right here. It starts right here. And recite to them, O Muhammad, the news of him to whom we gave knowledge of our signs. But he detached himself from them. So Satan pursued him, and he became of the deviators. And if we had willed, we would have elevated him thereby. But he adhered instead to the earth and followed his own desires. SubhanAllah, how many people have fallen into that? Right, someone, Allah has gifted them with Islam, for example, but they decide to follow their desires instead. And taking their God, their desires beside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Now we're still talking about this, right?
What does that mean now? When you still, in terms of taking the terms of their desires?
Taking the desire.
They left Islam?
Taking their desires, yes.
Oh, okay.
They're worshiping their desires and stuff like that outside. Now, there's of course, when we talk about worshiping desires, there's different levels of that. But we're talking about the level that expels one from Islam. Not saying that every worship of your desire expels one from Islam and stuff. Well, someone worship their desires to so much that it is what dictates to them what is halal and haram. It dictates to that, and that's what expels someone from the fold of Islam. One can remain in Islam as long as they don't worship other than Allah, and they don't make impermissible what Allah has made permissible with knowledge, and made permissible what Allah has made impermissible with knowledge. Other than that, they're up to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That issue. But even when the issue when it comes to making things permissible that were impermissible, or impermissible that are permissible, it's sometimes people do that with a shubha, it being unclear to them because of some reason or another. Whether it's following a sheikh that that led them to believe that somehow it could be permissible, even though in the Quran it clearly states otherwise, but they're so attached to the sheikh, and maybe he knows what I don't know about this person, so forth. And like I said about the Russians, there was a Russian sheikh that I heard about when I was in school that would told some of his followers that drinking alcohol is permissible. And they changed the name. Of course, they don't call it alcohol. They call it something about ruh nafsiyya or something like that. I can't remember the exact word that the sheikh who told me the story used. But basically something that rejuvenates the soul or something like that, loosely translated, and stuff. We think that our crazy is crazy until we hear other people's stuff. There's some stuff out there, man.
I had one fellow, he was smoking, so I said, oh, you shouldn't be smoking. So he said, well, before the Prophet Muhammad tobacco existed.
Before the Prophet Muhammad took back what was existed?
No, he said tobacco existed.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah,
Before the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, yeah,
So he felt that was his explanation.
That was his explanation.
Justifying smoking.
The smoking, okay. So someone explains to you that, because it existed before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was permissible. Basically, what I'm saying. So, on that assumption, then, those people that made fornication permissible before him, that means it's permissible still. The people who use different types of drugs in general before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that means it was permissible. People who marry their daughters, permissible. People who marry their sisters, permissible, right? Because these are the things that existed before. Something existing beforehand is not a proof in itself that it is permissible. I mean, we all know that, and but that is a shubha. That is one of those unclear issues to him. Now, but he could be using that just to follow his desires. The only way you can really know, someone very grounded in knowledge sits down and has a conversation with this individual, clarifies some of the fundamentals of the religion to him, into which that scholar is left without a doubt that he knows what he's talking about, even after things have been clarified to him, and he refuses to accept the truth. In that instance, that scholar can rule that individual has exited the fold of Islam and so forth. Okay. Okay, so now let's look at this one. I didn't know this was going to take as long as it did. Maybe we should stop here and then just go on to fiqh, because I think we got 3. Okay, this is the last one. That was 4. Okay, let's try to finish this up, then we'll go to fiqh, inshallah. Okay, so the third type of differences is difference in choice of words and their meaning, which combined are not supported by the verse. Okay, so you have different explanations, basically, that when you try to put those two meanings together, the verse doesn't support one of those meanings. Okay, in that case, the preferred interpretation would go to the meaning that is most correct. You have two meanings. One doesn't really or cannot really be justified as an explanation. The other one can. So in that scenario, we take the one that can most likely be an explanation over the one that most likely is not. So let's look at an example of that. We have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, إِنَّمَا حَرَمَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةَ وَدَمَ وَلَحْمَ الْخِنْزِيرِ وَمَا أُهِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Now this last part is what we're talking about. So, but let's read the whole verse, right? It says, He has only forbidden to you dead animals, blood, the flesh of swine, and that which has been dedicated to other than Allah. But whoever is forced, and that's the way it talks about, commanded Torah, right? Whoever is forced, neither desiring nor transgressing, وَلَا عَادٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Then indeed Allah is forgiving and merciful. So we're going to talk about those two words, because even though in English we don't need it for neither desiring nor transgressing, it makes sense are not that clear, right? And that's the reason why you're going to see some of the scholars talk about it. So here we have two explanations of that verse. One is by Ibn Abbas, and the one is what some of the other explainers say. All right, so Ibn Abbas says, SubhanAllah, the first word was baghin, yeah. Wala baghin, wala adin. Okay, so he says baghin, and he says that it means to not transgress the bounds in regards to animal course and eating from it, right? That's what baghin, wala adin. Okay? While other people say the meaning is, it means to not rebel against the leader or disobey his delegates. Okay, let's go back and look at the that ayah again now. Now, Allah starts out by talking about, seems like he's talking about food, right? So Allah has made it permissible upon you the dead, blood, the flesh of the swine, and so forth, right? So this explanation here that talks about, he's also made it permissible for you to rebel against the ruler or the leader and disobeying his delegates. I mean, does that really have a place in the explanation? So here we say, so the most correct interpretation is the first because there is no proof to support the second. Right? And also that the intent behind making permissible that which was mentioned is to remove the harm which would happen if one would rebel against the ruler. Or so now here the Sheikh kind of went a little bit deep. Right? He's basically saying that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to remove harm for you doing something, right? But he said in this situation, rebelling against the ruler or the likes of like traveling for impermissible reasons and so forth, it does not hold a place here. It does not hold a place here. Not with the intent that's meant behind this ayah. And with that, we are done. Any questions on that? Go ahead.
When you, could you go back to the ayah again?
Okay, hold on. There you go.
What it says about whoever is forced. So is that your interpretation as far as if you starve them?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, compelled by your hunger to do it, And of course, not out of your desire, like, oh man, that looked good and stuff, but I'm gonna, nothing like that. That's why it says here, neither desiring. Okay, you don't want to, but you have to. Type of situation, yes.
What if that's not the only thing to eat, but take long to get another thing to eat?
Okay, so you have two options, right? But one will just take a lot longer. I'm guessing you're talking about the permissible option. Okay, so what's the problem then of just waiting? Are you gonna die before you get it? Okay, you're starving, but you're not gonna die though. If you feel like you can wait to get the permissible option, then you should wait. Right? So that's that.
You know what? I do got another question.
Go ahead.
Necessarily when Allah talks about the blood.
Mm-hmm.
As far as if people used to drink it, or when it talks about unlawful to use the blood, flesh of swine, so on and so forth. What is Allah talking about when he talks about the blood?
Blood in general, yeah. Drinking it and using it as sustenance and stuff like that, yeah. Drinking a cup of blood. Whew, okay. Now you guys know that stuff that's inside red meat is not blood, right? I mean, according to this, are you a chef or something like that? You should know this stuff.
No, I'm speaking of rare.
Yeah, that's
People eat. That's not blood.
That's not blood, no. It's called, what's it called, collagen or something like that. It's something that's inside the meat. But mostly when you get meat from the source and stuff like that, all the blood has already been drained out of the animal. Yeah. So that redness is not due to the blood being in there. That's not blood and stuff. There's another name for it. Yeah.
So you can eat like rare meat.
Yeah, you can eat rare meat. No problem. Okay. All right, so we are right. We gotta, the thing is when it comes to fiqh, almost everything is kind of connected, so it's hard to start, without actually going back a little bit to where we had come from. So we're still talking about the different types of fasting, right? And we've broken them into two categories, right? Optional, and then we have the obligatory. So what the Sheikh is going to be talking about, we're still talking about the different types of fasting. We're still talking about the conditions that need to be met for those. Okay? So yes. So let's now continue on with that. So, here he says, وَمُطْلَقُ النِّيَّةِ يُجْزَى فِيهِ وَنِيَّةُ النَّفْلِ بِلَا تَنْوِيهِ. Okay, وَمُطْلَقُ النِّيَّةِ. The wa, of course, means and, which I didn't put here, but mutlaq al-niyya meaning general intention. So the word mutlaq means general. There's another word actually that it means. It's not coming to my mind right now. I always forget this translation of it. But if you just general is kind of you can use it as long as there is not a word that has a similar meaning, because then you have to distinguish between what is mutlaq and this other word mean, like the word am, for example, because the word am is what is normally translated as general. Mutlaq is translated as something else. Absolute, that's the word I'm looking for, absolute. So mutlaq means absolute, but it wouldn't make sense to say absolute intention. You know, I don't think that anyone would understand that. So we say general intentions. Right, so mutlaq al-niyya, having general intention, just broad intentions to fast, yujza fihi, meaning that it is rewarded. And when something is rewarded, is the no way to say that it counts. Right, fihi, we have a preposition and a indirect object. The ha in fihi is referring to Ramadan. So here the Sheikh is saying having general niyya. For Ramadan, it counts. So if you say, I'm going to fast tomorrow, you don't say, I'm going to fast for Ramadan, you say, I'm going to fast. That is okay. That is good enough for your Ramadan, is what that's saying. And it's going to say that again. All right. Also, though, وَنِيَةُ النَّفْلِ بِلَا تَنْوِيهِ. وَنِيَةُ النَّفْلِ, the what meaning and niyyah, intentions. And nafl, you know, from the word nawafil. This is the singular form. The singular form of the word is nafl. The plural is nawafil. Right? So nafl means optional actions such as sunnah fasting. So having intentions for sunnah fasting, right? Bila meaning without. Does anyone have a problem with that meaning without? Like, is anyone going to say, but I thought such and such means without? I knew someone was going to say that. I knew someone was thinking, there's like about 5 ways in Arabic to say without. 5 ways. You can say bila, min ghayr, bi ghayr, min dun, bidun, and all types of ways. So don't be surprised that this means without. Okay. All right, so bila and tamwihi. And tamwih is from the word, the verb mawwaha, right? Which means ambiguity, to make something ambiguous. So what is this talking about then? Well, it's going to be explained here. Right, so let's just wait a little bit, and then we're going to get the meaning of both these 2 verses. All right, so here in this line it says, وَبِالْخَطَأِ إِلَّا مِنَ الْمُرِيدِ أَوْ مِنَ الْمُسَافِرِ فَعَمَّا قَدْ نَوَوْا. So, wa meaning and, al-khata meaning wrong or mistake, illa means except. This is an issue that we all have to really pay attention to. Because a lot of us, we get this word illa mixed up with ila. What is the difference between illa and ila? Okay, they both have hamza at the beginning.
Or is one gonna have not a or
One's a preposition, yes.
but with the aleph there or no?
Okay, let me say the words again. Illa, ila.
Illa is God.
Ilah is God,
Is God or Lord.
right?
God is like no, or there is no, or like
Illa means except.
except, right. Like la ilaha.
Yes, both of them are in the Shahada. And a lot of people mix those two up. Someone might say La ilaha illa or something like that, or La ilaha ilaha or something like that, not noticing that they're not the same word. And so there's a slight difference in pronunciation that we have to pay attention to. La ilaha illallah. Right? La ilaha illallah. Right? So we have to pay attention to that. So this is illa, which means except. All right. Min, preposition meaning from. Al-marid. What does marid mean? Sick. So if you say ana marid, what does that mean? I'm sick. Right? Anta marid. What does that mean? You're sick. Huwa marid. He is sick. Hiya marid. Oh, hiya marida, actually. She is sick. Right? And so forth. So this word means sick. Aw. Or. Okay, now for the second part of the line. Al-musafir, traveler. Anyone disagree with that? There's no other word for traveler, really. I mean, you could say rahil, but that's not used that much. So if you want to say, I'm traveling, what do you say? How would you say it in Arabic, though?
What do you say? I'm
Uh, Ana, what?
Ana Marie.
Ana musafir. Meaning I'm traveling or I'm a traveler. You know, it means the same thing. If you say I'm a traveler, you're traveling. And so you can say I'm traveling or I'm a traveler. It means the same thing. Ana musafir. Of course, a female, what would you change? How would you say it differently? That's right, that's it. Ana musafira. Because, you know, the feminine article, you have to put the ta'al marbuta at the end. Right? All right. Hey, quick question. Tell me a word that applies to female that you do not put the ta'al marbuta at the end. So like this, for example, this we have to put a ta'al marbuta at the end, right, to make it fit feminine. But there are some words that no, I don't want it in English, I want it in Arabic. What is the word? What? Haid? Close. That's one of them, sah. But haid means menstrual cycle. But doesn't mean, that's not the adjective for a person that's going through their menstrual cycle. How do you say that? What's the word? Ha'id. Say, ana ha'id. So a woman can say, I am menstruating. You know, ana ha'id. Right? And you don't say ana ha'ida. You don't need to put a tabuta on there.
It's pertaining to.
Because it's for women already. Right? A man is not going to come and say ana ha'id. And then a woman come and say ana ha'ida. No, it's not going to happen. So then, if you understand that, the other word is only specific for women that has no ta'al marbuta to it. Yes, pregnancy. What's the word for being pregnant? Hamil. That's right. So a woman would say, ana hamil. She doesn't have to say, ana hamila. No, ana hamil. I'm pregnant. Okay? And like that. Just a little, I don't know, we kind of ran away with that, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Okay. Fa'amma. Fa'amma. We have three words here. Actually, we have the fa plus the word an plus the word ma. And I didn't give you a meaning. So it means and from what? Nawo is from the word niya. This is the verb. Nawo. It's a verb for a group. You know what they intend. And what's the verb for a single person? It's in the hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ إِمْرٍ مَا نَوَى. Yani, every action is by its intention for every man or for every person is what he intends. So that intents part is Noah, right? Because it's singular, one person. But if it was a group, Noah. Okay. All right, so it says this line is a continuation about the topic of intentions in general, right? General intention for Ramadan as well as the intention to do an optional fast or mistake of intention, such as intending to make up a day. For example, so Ramadan comes in, but you have the intention to fast tomorrow to make up a day of Ramadan, right? Not to fast, you didn't know that Ramadan that came in. So you said, tomorrow, man, I have this one more day to make up for Ramadan last year, so I'm going to make it up tomorrow. Having that intention to fast, making up Ramadan, or having an intention to fast, an optional fast, or having an intention in general to fast, all of that is sufficient for your intentions for Ramadan. Okay, let's read why. So it says, an exception to this is a person who is sick or traveling. So the person who is sick or traveling, he can't do that. The person who is sick or traveling, he cannot have general intention. He cannot fast by mistake, like, saying that he's going to fast a makeup Ramadan in its place, for that day, when it's actually a Ramadan. All right, he can't do that. So the person who's sick and the person who's traveling, they can't do that. They have to have a specific intention. Why is it that the person that is sick and the person that's traveling have to have a specific intention if they are fasting?
They have an option of fasting.
Because Ramadan is not obligatory on them. See, the person who's not traveling and is fasting, if they have a general intention to fast, or if they decide to make up a fast, it doesn't matter what their intention is, as long as their intention is to fast, because they have to fast Ramadan. But the person that is traveling, they don't have to fast Ramadan. So if they decide to fast, they have to have specific intention.
Every single day.
Yeah. Okay, it's kind of deep. The person that's traveling is it obligatory for them to fast?
That's clear. That's
But the person that's sick, right? You're probably asking about the person that's sick, right? There's some people that are sick that the sickness makes it not obligatory for them to fast.
right. My confusion is the person who did not finish making up their days from last year. So are you saying that if their intentions were to fast, but them not knowing the next day is Ramadan, that day of making up is they don't have the
No. That intention
Right.
counts for the Ramadan, but they still have to make up that day.
Basically, it doesn't matter because it's Ramadan.
It's Ramadan.
And fasting is obligatory.
right.
Like, you can't, my intention wasn't correct, I'm exempt from fast. You know what I'm saying? You have to fast. It's Ramadan.
Yeah. So what happens is basically that intention converts over to their intention for the Ramadan that is now. But they will still have to make up that fast that they intended to do that day.
If Ramadan, during the period of Ramadan, you're fasting, how can you make it up?
You can't.
The person didn't know.
You can't. Yeah, the person didn't know it was Ramadan. They intend to make up a day, not knowing that that same day that tomorrow was going to be Ramadan, for example. They didn't know.
Once Ramadan starts,
You can't fast anything else.
You can't make up a day.
No.
I was going to ask last week, so it's interesting that this has come up because we were talking about intentions and whatever. So as far as this particular opinion is that you have to make the intentions each night, the night before, and not for the month. So what if you forget to make your intentions? You fast anyway?
You have to fast anyway. It's just like the person who eats out of forgetfulness and stuff like that. They still have to fast. If a person in Ramadan, they eat, right? Not, forgetting that it was Ramadan, they had breakfast, lunch, well, not lunch, had breakfast, nice big breakfast, and they're drinking water the whole day and things like that. Then someone say, are you supposed to be fasting? Like, oh yeah, I am. They have to stop eating and act as if they're fasting and stuff like that. But they still have to make up that day.
That's what so you have to make up that day. Like
Yeah.
If you forgot to make your intentions, but you still fasted. No, but I guess if you fasted.
How you? No.
Oh,
You
never mind.
okay? Okay. How much time we got until the salat? It's 8:20 to the salat's in, or
7:36, 8:36.
8:30? 8:36 is the salat, and it's 8:20 now.
8:40, 8:40.
Oh, it's 8:12 now. Okay. Yes.
What if somebody doesn't have a gender? Do they every break praying like a cycle, whatever it's called, or do you keep on praying like the men?
Okay, a person has no gender. I don't know what that means, and I don't even know if that's possible. A person can be born without genitals. Okay? So actually this is something that the scholars have spoken about in the past and stuff. And the ruling goes with whatever gender they have more similarities with, then that's the ruling that they would take. Okay? For example, if a person has both genitals for a male and a female, then they'll say, okay, look and see which one of those genitals they use to go to the bathroom. Like, where does urine come from? Does it come out of the female genital or the male? If it comes out of the male genital, then that person it gets the ruling of a male. Comes out of the female, then that person gets a ruling of a female, and so forth. So basically, in general, you look at what commonality that individual whose gender is obscure, where do they have most of their commonality with, or who do they have most of their commonality with? Understand? Good question, though. Any other questions? You guys look like you're deeply enthralled in this conversation, man. I'm pretty sure you have something going on through your head back there. Huh? Say what? Say no what? What do you mean by no? I don't understand. No what? No question? How about a thought? Tell me what you're thinking. Huh? What'd she say? Smiley face.
When is spring break?
When is spring break, mashallah? In class, huh? What? Tell me now the connection between spring break and fasting. No connection, right? That would be a good answer. That would be a good answer. But we know that she was not paying any attention to this class. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Allahumma musta'an. See, your brother over here he has questions, and mashallah, he's paying attention. And while he's younger than you too. And while he's doing all of that, you're thinking about spring break. Shouldn't you set the example? You're not exempt too as well. Mrs. Laugh a Lot. You're the second oldest. You should be setting examples too. What's she saying? Okay, all right. So it's all clear to you then. Because if something is not clear, we're here to clarify. Everything is clear? Okay, so I could ask you some questions then. Sounds about right? Just one question. I have one question for you, inshallah. Okay? Okay, you ready? Let me know when you're ready. You ready now? Good, good, good. Okay. Let's say that I wake up after my Kailula. You know what Kailula is, right? Huh? A Kailula is a short nap, a siesta. Okay, I wake up after my Kailula. And I decide that I want to fast. I haven't eaten all day. And I decide that I want to fast. Is it okay if I do that? What she say? No?
She said no.
Why not?
It is. I wake up as soon as the night fast.
What she say?
You have to make your intentions to fast.
Is to make your intentions to fast the night before. Only? I mean, she's correct, actually. She's correct. I'm actually surprised. But, okay, you have to make your intention the night before, up until when? When's the last time for intention for optional fasting? Yes, before Dhuhr. Before Dhuhr. So obviously, if you make, when do you pray Kailula? I mean, when do you sleep your Kailula? Yes, afternoon, right? You sleep the Kailula afternoon every other day except when? No, every other day except, I mean, it's a day in the week where you don't sleep in the afternoon. Friday. Yes. Friday the Kailula is before and not after. Or is it the opposite? Hold on. No. Trying to think. It's been a while since I did this. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. The Kailula is it's before. Yeah. It's before. Every other day other than that, the Kailula is after. So you pray Dhuhr, then you go to sleep. See, here in America, subhanAllah, you don't need a Kailula. You don't need a siesta. Because you guys don't have that heat that beats you down and takes all the energy and strength out of you.
That's not even true.
No, it's true. It's true.
I don't know nobody that doesn't benefit from a nap.
It is true. No. I used to, there's a difference between benefiting from a nap and having to take a nap. Like, when you're in the Middle East, I mean, when I first went to the Middle East, I was only used to sleeping once a day. And for being there only for a couple of weeks, I started taking Kailulas. Have to. I mean, there's no way I could go through my day without getting a little nap in order to continue. And that's how, and then you see the reason why a lot of people do it. And when I got acclimated to the Kailula and came back here to America, and I tried to continue that process because of the amount of benefit, I wasn't able to. It just wasn't as necessary, which made it kind of more difficult to do.
I think that also depends on what you're accustomed to. So if you're accustomed to that in one place, like here we might be accustomed to, if it's that hot for me here where I feel like I need to take a nap because this is what I'm accustomed to. So I'm accustomed to it usually being cold and then it's 90 plus degrees and I feel like I'm tired and need to take a nap. It's because the temperature has changed from what I'm accustomed to. So no, it may not be as hot as it is over there. So I feel like it's just what you become accustomed to.
That's part of it. Being acclimated to a certain habit does affect what you do and things like that. I mean, that's why a lot of people do it there. You get acclimated to it, you get used to it. I mean, especially too, for example, if the society is kind of revolves around that. Because in the Middle East, after Dhuhr, nothing is open anyway. So what are you gonna do? There's nothing for you to do. I mean, you could go to like the supermarkets are open, but other than that, everything else is closed.
People go home for lunch.
Yeah, they do. They go home, eat lunch, and then, people sleep. After lunch, they sleep. I mean, I don't know how it works in Sudan, but I'm pretty sure it's the same everywhere, pretty much in the Middle East. After lunch, you sleep. So you pray Dhuhr, you eat your lunch, you sleep. Except for Jumu'ah, where you sleep before Jumu'ah. You wake up, you pray Jumu'ah, and then you eat. Then you continue on with the rest of the day.
There's studies, a lot of companies are letting their employees take time time off in the afternoon to take a nap, and they found that they're more productive at work when they allow them some resting time.
So my job, they have a sleep.
That's not good.
MashaAllah, sleep rooms and job. Allahu Akbar. That's good. That's good. No, I've never heard of that, but that's good though. That's good.
You cannot turn the light on. You cannot turn the light on in the room.
MashaAllah. That's a job though that they really value their workers level of productiveness and things like that, because they understand that it's more than just beating a dead horse, and you don't really get nothing out of someone that's tired. Mistakes are even made. That's why in some places they're thinking about cutting the amount of hours too that people work during a week and during a day, because of that thing. Production level doesn't increase by having people work longer hours.
Usually after 4 hours, production is down.
Yeah.
And especially after you eat.
Yeah.
Yep. The itis. Yes. Famous everywhere. Along with stuff. Okay. So let's continue. Or we can not. Alrighty, no problem. Let me see if there's anything that we really need to get out of the way. Alright, so في قضاء الشهر والكفارة ومطلق النذر خذ العبارة. This is a different subject, so it's probably good if we stop right here. Yeah, there's a lot we have to cover. Look at all this. A lot of notes. Allahu Akbar, I did a lot. Okay. So any questions as far as where we've reached to as far as fasting? Everyone understands the concept that the Sheikh has put forth. The difference between optional and obligatory fasting, and why certain intentions are okay and why certain intentions are not in different instances. Yes.
With somebody, didn't know that Ramadan tomorrow, but they put alarm right before you break your fast. When you remember in Ramadan, when the alarm came in, is it still permissible? Do you still give me rewards for fasting that small time?
Okay, so I think I kind of understand what you're saying. So you're saying basically someone oversleeps, right? And they wake up just a little bit before it's time to break your fast in Ramadan? No?
They didn't know it was Ramadan.
Okay, they didn't know it was Ramadan, and they overslept.
They didn't oversleep. They put an alarm on for the time, just before you break your fast. But they didn't know Ramadan tomorrow.
They put the alarm on. Okay, why would they put the alarm on before it's time to break fast?
I don't know, some job thing?
Okay, so why would the alarm be on though? Were they sleeping or not?
Yes, they were.
Okay, so they were sleeping, right, through the majority of the first day of Ramadan, for example. Okay, yeah, let's put that in there too. It's winter time, so the days are shorter, right? And they wake up just before it's time to break fast, and they didn't know it was Ramadan, right? So what they would have to do is, once they know it was Ramadan, they would have to, of course, they can't eat anything until the fasting time is over, and they would have to make that day up.
But do you still get rewards for fasting that short time?
They didn't fast. They didn't fast. They're only withholding eating in observation of Ramadan, but they're not fasting. Because what's the definition of fasting that we covered? You remember the definition?
Yeah. Holding back something.
Withholding from?
Eating.
No, see, that's too. Some scholars do explain Ramadan by saying withholding from eating and intercourse and all that. Instead of just naming all the stuff, because there's difference of opinion in some certain things, let's say withholding from those things which break the fast. Okay, that way in general, you cover everything. Okay, so withholding from that which breaks the fast from sun up to sundown with intention. That's the definition of fasting. That person who didn't know it was Ramadan, right? Who only abstained because they're sleeping, had no intention, and with only a little bit of time left. Now that person wasn't fasting. The only reason why they're not eating is an observation of the month of Ramadan, and not really because it counts to their fast. That's what that is. Any other questions? Go.
Here's a language question. When you mentioned, and the one, I'm not sure it was IRID, you said fee, you said the how meant Ramadan.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's look at that. Yeah, nah, no.
Is that because it was attached to the fee, or?
No, yes and no. Let's take a look at it though. We're gonna look at it, inshallah, and I'll show you. Is that mutlaqun niyya yujza fihi is what it said. So it's basically the first thing we covered. Yeah, mutlaqun niyya yujza fihi. Talking about this fihi right here, right? The reason why we know that it's talking about Ramadan is just through context. Because it's saying here, general intention is okay in it. It's really saying it. With the it here, what is it talking about? What is having general intentions talking about? You know, so we know that it's talking about Ramadan because that's the subject of what we're discussing. So yeah, so he doesn't necessarily doesn't mean Ramadan, but it's referring to Ramadan. Yeah. Anyone else have a linguistic question, anything like that?
Can you talk about things that elevate the fast already?
No, we haven't reached that. We haven't reached that yet. It's going to come up later on, inshallah.
So you did say that there was two different opinions as far as making your intentions daily and just it's okay to have a general intention
For the month. Yeah, difference of opinion. Some scholars say you have to have, because each day to them is considered an act of worship by itself. While some scholars view it as, the month of Ramadan is an act of worship. So it's just how you look at it. And it shows us, how different people can view the same thing actually. Because, in that type of issue, you can see how one can view it one way and the other one can view it the other and things like that. And it's all just all just a matter of view and perspective. There's no real text to support one way or the other. It's just a view.
So if you took the opinion of a daily intention for a woman, like if she was menstruating, and say like she made her ghusl like maybe midday, but she would start fasting from that point.
You would have to withhold from eating.
Right.
Yeah, but she would have to make that day up.
Okay.
Yeah, she would have to make that day up and stuff because she didn't start her intention and her fast.
So that's what I was going to
right.
ask. So the intentions, because of that, her
Yeah.
intentions was not there.
Yeah, her intentions wasn't there before and things like that. Intention wasn't there before, and she didn't start fasting right there. So yeah, so when she comes comes off her menstrual cycle in the middle of the fasting day, she would withhold from eating and things like that, but she'll still have to make that day
So
up.
what if it wasn't midday? So even if it was around Fajr time, or like around Fajr.
Yeah. Once that time has passed,
Okay.
yeah, she would have to make that day up and stuff. Anything else? No. No more grammar. Let's go over some grammar stuff then. Right? Everyone likes a little grammar. Where's that grammar book at? Oh, it's in the Arabic. Arabic.
So what if a person, how can you calculate that, like as far as, if you never knew that, as far as having your intention, how can you possibly calculate that within the course of?
Like years and stuff like that. No, all that stuff, if you didn't know before, ignorance is an excuse. No, you don't have to make that stuff up. If you didn't know, now you know. Okay, so we're gonna move a little forward here. Now, if you guys remember, the last time, in fact, let's not even go there. Let's go right about here. Let's make this a little smaller. Okay. The word for door in Arabic, what is it? Al-babu, right? Now, is al-babu door or the door? The door, right? Because there's a definite article. What's a definite article in Arabic? What makes something a definite article in Arabic? The alif and lam, right? And what makes something an indefinite article? Yeah, but what changes? The tanween. The tanween is an indication of an indefinite article in Arabic. So, in English, you have the presence of the and the absence of it. That makes something definite or indefinite. In Arabic, the presence of either the alif and lam at the beginning, or you have tanween at the end. Right. So, al-babu, the door. Babun, a door. Right? Like that. So, even though it says door here, I should really, let me fix that real quick and put the door, yeah, so no one will be confused. This is the problem when you write in both Arabic and English. Okay, so the door. All right, so how do we spell this, or how do we write this, right? The boo looks like this. We have the alif and lam here, right? The alif and lam, al. Then we have the ba with a fatha, ba. Then we have the alif, so ba. And then we have another ba with a, what's that? Now this we haven't studied yet. What's this called? It's on the ba. The dhamma, right? The dhamma gives the ba what sound? Ooh, right? The like U or O sound. So we say al ba bu, right? Al ba bu, and that means the door. Okay, how about bathroom? Let's look at the word for bathroom. Let's see if we could get the whole word's kind of big. Let's try and see if we can make this a little smaller. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's look at the word for bathroom. We have the word for bathroom is al-hammamu. Right, so how do we spell that? Al, right? The alif and lam. Then we have the ha with a fatha over it. Ha, right? Al-ha. Then right here we have a meme with a circle over it. That circle is called a sukoon. That means that it means the absence of a vowel, right? And we have the same thing in English when we have a consonant without a vowel after it, right? So it makes it, for example, if we look here, the word, the letters T and H right here, is it followed by a vowel? No. Right? So you wouldn't say tha, thi, or thu, right? So, but it has a sound, bath. That's the sound, that's it, without a vowel. So how do we say a meme without a vowel? Just like that. So it'd be ham. Right? We have the ha, is ha, and then we have the meme, with a sukoon, that's ham.
Like Hamza.
Yeah, like Hamza. That's right. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. All right. All right, so after that though, we have another meme. This meme has a fatha over it, which is ma. Okay, now here when we break the words down, right, the first meme has a sukoon, the second meme has a fatha. But when we write it together, what do we see? We see a shadda. This thing that looks like a W over the meme, and then something that looks like a fatha. This thing that looks like a W is called the shadda, right? And it makes the word like this, okay? The shadda is telling us that there's two of those letters. The first one has a sukoon. The second one has whatever is on the shadda. It could be a fatha, like here, you see the fatha, or it could be a dhamma, or it could be a kasra, depending. But this is an indication that there's double. And it's a sign of stressing the word. Okay. So we have al, right here, right? Al. And then the ha and the first meme, ham. Then we have the meme and the alif, ma. And then we have the last meme with the dhamma, mu. Al-hammamu. You have to go to al-hammamu. Go ahead. Go.
I was practicing.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay, here the section is كيفية السؤال عما لا يعلم. How do you ask about something that you don't know in Arabic? This is very important for beginners who are trying to speak Arabic. You don't know something. You don't know how to say something. The person doesn't understand English. How do you ask for information to now build up your vocabulary? So one of the things you're going to need to know is to say, what is this? And you say, what is this by? Ma. So ma hada is what is this? So for example, ma hada. Yeah, well, there's this courtesy that's underneath, but I was talking about a projector. You say, hada projector. There's no Arabic word for a projector unless it's like really long, explaining it and stuff. So most Arabs just say projector with an Arab accent. As a projector. Okay.
What was it again?
Huh?
What is this?
What is, how do you say what is this? Ma hada. 2 words, right? Ma hada. Kayfa aqul. What does kayfa aqul mean? Kayfa aqul is how do you say?
Isn't that like the same thing as?
No. You want to know how to say something. Like you know the word in English and the person understands the word in English and Arabic. You understand? So say, for example, kayfa aqulu car. You understand? How do I say car? So they know that you're looking for the meaning of that word in Arabic. So they'll say, say quli sayyara, for example. They say sayyara. Okay? But in this, you don't know what the thing is called in Arabic. So you're asking now, for example, you like this. Ma hada. Of course, in Arabic, it's microphone. But speaker actually does have a word in Arabic, though. Speaker does. What is it? Who knows? Mukabbir as-sawt. Yes, for the word takbir. Mukabbir as-sawt. There's something that makes sound bigger. Mukabbir as-sawt. Yes.
Does that have to change depending on if you're talking to a man or a woman?
Yes. Yes, it does.
So it has to be mahadi.
Yes. But most people, because you're new to the language, they'll understand if you're not able to differentiate the gender of something. Because how do you know something is masculine and feminine without knowing what the word is first? You understand what I'm saying? You don't know that, for example, kursi is masculine. So if someone can really hold you for saying ma hadihi, they're gonna be like, okay, yes, oh, mashallah, learning. So they'll say, yes, hada kursi. And that's it. Or what's another word for, okay, kursi is chair. What's the word for seat? Arsh? No. No, sarir is bed. Seat is maq'ad. Maq'ad, yes. So anyway, so this is very important for the person who is trying to learn to speak. One of the first things that you should know is how to ask what things are. So ma hada. Okay. So what else is important? Another thing that is important to know is to ask, what does something mean? Oops. Oh, that's too small.
Do you say, if you are talking to a woman, do you change it, or?
No, it doesn't change. It doesn't change because of who you're talking to, no. Because the question isn't direct, the question isn't about them. The question is about a thing.
Oh, it's the object.
The object is what changes.
Does it change depending on who you're talking to?
No.
Oh, that's what I was asking.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so how do we ask what the meaning of something is? Yeah, ma ma'na. So, if you want to know what something means, like someone says something in Arabic, right? Like they say, fashalt, for example, or fashilt. They say, ma ma'na fashilt. Meaning, what does fashilt mean? Or they say something like, qira'a. So you say, ma ma'na qira'a. And what does qira'a mean? They say, qamis. Ma ma'na qamis. And what does qamis mean?
Shirt.
Yeah, shirt. Who says shirt? Yeah. So that's how you would do that, right? So this is another important question that you're going to need to know to ask if you're trying to learn Arabic speaking, and you just want to keep that conversation going. Someone tells you something, they don't understand English, well, you need to know what they're saying. You need it to be explained to you. So ma ma'na. Okay, so let's go over it. How do you say, what is this? Ma hada. Okay, and how do you say, what does this mean? Ma ma'na. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let's look at some examples
I
now.
have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the noon, when there's no Fatah above it, is it to assume that since it's followed by a yah?
Hold on, you're talking about in ma'na?
Yeah.
Okay, this is not a yeah. It's an aleph actually. But there's two different types of aleph in Arabic. There's aleph maqsura and there's aleph mamduda. Okay. So even though it looks like this, it's an aleph. But it's an aleph that sometimes, depending on the morphology, like depending on the form that it's used in a word, changes into a yeah. But right here, it's an aleph. But this is it's like telling you that, hey, look out, I could change into a yeah in different instances. Basically, what this is telling you and stuff. Okay. All right, so now let's look at an example here. Ma ma'na mukatib. Okay, someone uses the word mukatib, you don't know what it means. So you say, ma ma'na mukatib. Yani, what does mukatib mean? Okay. And by the way, mukatib is a type of servant or slave, someone that's actually in the process of buying their freedom. It's called mukatib, meaning that they have a contract with their owner, saying that if I pay you such and such amount of money, that's it. I can be free and stuff. That's what a mukatib is. I mean, this is something.
It's so far away from slave servant. You know what I mean?
It's like indentured. It's like an indentured servant.
I would think it would be more similar you know what I mean? I would think that's interesting that it doesn't really bear any similarities to the slave or servant.
I don't know what you're saying.
Like Abdul or.
Like slave.
Oh, the word, yeah, it doesn't have any connection to the word that means
Connection
slave.
to it, and it's
Yeah.
similar. That's what's interesting.
Yeah, because this word is comes from the word kitaba, right? Which means to write.
That's why I thought you were gonna say that it was something about book or
Books
right,
or yeah.
Right. So when you said it was about servant, it was like, oh, I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's like some of the things you can't just go off your sometimes your understanding. There's like terminologies, that's even specific to a language. Words that you would think would mean something totally different. Yeah, that's why you need to have someone that's there to guide you sometimes to. Okay, now let's look at another word here, ana, which means I. Okay, ana, I. Wait, come on now. Wait, don't give everything away. All right, so we have the word ana. So how do we write ana? This word ana here, we write it first with a hamza over a alif, plus a noon with a fatha, and then a alif. Right, so then that's how we get ana, which means I. Yes. What? Can I scroll up? Okay, briefly. Scrolling up. Here.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya as-salah, hayya as-salah. Hayya al-falah, hayya al-falah. Allahu Akbar, Allah.
Okay, good?
Excuse me, do you need some more water?
No, I'm good, thank you. Barakallahu. Okay, so if we look at the word ana, all right, and then we look at this other word now. This other word is called uridu. Uridu, which means I want. Uridu. Okay, uridu is spelled with the hamza on the alif, but with a dhamma over the hamza. Then we have a ra with a kasra. Then we have a ya. And then we have a dal with a dhamma. U-ri-du. Alright, so we're going to put uridu, which means I want, with another word that we studied, al-hammam. And al-hammam means what?
Bathroom.
Bathroom. Important words to learn, right? You're traveling somewhere, and uh-oh. So you say, ana uridu hammam. What does that mean? I want the bathroom. Basically, I need to use the bathroom. Basically, I need to use the bathroom. There's a lot of ways you can say this. Ain al-hammam. أحتاج إلى استخدام الحمام. You could go long, you could go short. There's a lot of ways you can say it. But because the word ana uridu, you're going to use it a lot, I use it here and things like that. If you say this, someone will understand what you're saying.
Can't you just leave the ana off and just put uridu such and such?
Yeah, you can. Why do we say ana after uridu? Is there any difference between saying uridu al-hammam and ana uridu al-hammam? There's a slight difference. Remember, in Arabic, everything matters. What's the difference? Huh? No, it's just more emphasis. Just for emphasis. That's it. But yeah, you can take it off. I said emphasis.
Because you find when you speak with people.
They don't use it, yeah.
Right, they don't use that, so it's like, the classes whatever, they just say like, or you say, Nuri, like, you will put the noon with the other one. No one really says Nahnu, Nuri, do such and such.
But you know what though? As people that are learning, it's good for you to use the excessive and then take off than not knowing how to use it. You know, it actually is good practice to do it fully. That's why when I used to teach my students English, I always tell them to answer in complete sentences, because that trains them how to use those words together and stuff, as opposed to just one answer. One word answers don't really benefit the person that's trying to learn a new language. So that's one way of thinking about it. Okay. They have that too. At least in Egypt, they have centers that teach slang for people that just really want to know Arabic, so they could go outside in the streets and converse with the people. So yeah, I mean, but that doesn't really benefit much. It's easy for a person that studies classical Arabic to understand slang than it is the other way around, in my opinion. Okay, I don't know why I put, okay, I see why I did this. All right. Here we're going to talk about elongating sounds. Because we know the vowel sounds, right? The three vowel sounds in Arabic, the a, e, u, right? So how do we elongate that? Instead of saying ah, how do we say ah? Instead of saying e, how do we say e? And instead of u, how do we say u? Okay, so here we have u with the hamza, the dhamma. If we want to elongate that, make a u sound, we add wow. So this is u. Here we have the hamza with a kasra, the e sound. If we want to elongate that, we add the ya. So this is e. So we have u, e. So, after knowing that, though, don't get it confused with this. In fact, let me try and see if I can put those two on the same line so we can look at those together. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, let's look at these two now. What's the difference between these two pairs and these two pairs? The sukoon, right? Only this one has a dhamma on top. This one has a fatha. This one has a kasra. This one has a fatha. Yeah, I should probably separate those two and make them bigger. Hold on, let me see if I could do that. Let's separate them like this. Okay, and let's try to increase the size. That's too big. Okay, all right. All right, so if we look at these then. So now let's look at the difference in pronunciation. So we have oo and we have e. How do we say this?
Ow.
Ow. Ooh, ow. And how do we say this? A. So E, A. Okay, do these two, okay, we know that these are elongation, right? Do these two have any meaning to it?
Or.
Yeah, O is or,
Or which.
right? And A is which, yeah. Like when you know, between two things, which one of them? This is A. So like, for example, so it's actually for asking questions and stuff about choices. Like, which one do you want? Ayyuhuma turid, huh?
A way pie.
All right. I guess we could stop there, inshallah. Any questions before We end class? No? Okay. So سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Yeah, my computer's gonna die.
You stay on.
Yep.
At least your computer lasts.